Well, today's our final morning talking about light, and we've talked about how Jesus is the light of the world. And now, on our final day, we have a responsibility as Jesus followers and disciples for Jesus' light to live in us and for us to let that light shine. And our verse of the day is from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 5, in verse 16, where Jesus says, "In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven." One of the things that it's important and we hope happens is that the quality and the nature of our life is different because we are sincerely trying to follow Jesus by living the same type of life that he lived on a daily basis. And that means we don't live as the world lives. Again, Jesus speaks these words as a part of his Sermon on the Mount. They come after he talks about all the people who will be blessed, people who we don't ordinarily think of as blessed: the poor in spirit, those who mourn, the weak, those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, the merciful, the pure in heart, the peacemakers, those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake. One of the things that Jesus is trying to make clear in the Sermon on the Mount and in the Beatitudes is that the condition doesn't keep you from the kingdom. One of the attitudes that Jesus was trying to change or push back against was the idea that if something was wrong in your life, you must have either sinned or done something wrong because God wasn't blessing you and making your life perfect and wonderful in every way. And Jesus pushes back against that and says, there's actually a blessing for those who are mourning. There is a blessing for those who hunger and thirst for righteousness and are frustrated that they don't see those things in the world. There is a blessing for the peacemakers, even though peacemaking is very difficult work. And so after the Beatitudes, Jesus uses two images. You are the salt of the earth. And again, in verse 14 and 16, you are the light of the world. Because Jesus is now no longer physically on the scene in our day. And he has no hands and no feet, but yours and mine and those of all his followers, to share his light and love and mercy and grace with the world. So just like many of us learned in a song when we were little kids or in vacation Bible school, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And that's what we are all called to do. So let your light shine today and brighten someone else's day. In Jesus' name. Not so they'll say you're so wonderful, but as Jesus says in Matthew 5:16, so that they will give glory to our Father in heaven.